Okay, hello, good morning everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Chris and I'm one of the Shortcuts content and training specialists here. So what we're going to be going through this morning is Shortcuts marketing or cloud-based marketing. Now we actually offer two different marketing platforms. This is the one we refer to as cloud-based marketing, and we refer to it as having a super simple editor. And the reason we say that is we've done a lot of the hard work with you when it comes to your marketing. We want it to be quick. We want it to be easy. We want you to be creating these campaigns and getting them sent out within minutes. So hopefully once you've watched this morning's masterclass, you'll feel confident enough to get these campaigns set up. Now, as always, there is a little bit of background information, a little bit of housekeeping just before we get started. So as always, my microphone is switched on. Everyone else has automatically been muted, but I do always say, as you'll know, for those of you that are familiar with my classes, feel free to unmute yourself, have a chat with me, or you can drop me an email, whichever you like to do. The duration of this session is going to be approximately 60 minutes. It might be a little bit less, it might be a little bit more, just depending on how many questions we get this morning. And as always, questions will be taken at the end of the session via the chat box. But if you do want to drop me a message throughout, I will always just keep an eye on it. I know a lot of the time we get messages throughout. I may just leave them to the end. So please don't worry if I've not answered your question. I'll have a little look at them at the end for you there. So cloud marketing campaigns, when we say campaign, we really mean like offer, email, text message, whatever it may be. And we've got quite a few preset campaigns. So you can see we've got the new client, that's welcoming the client to you. And we can see this campaign will be sent at 9 a.m. the day after a new client's first visit. Time to see you again. The campaign will be sent at 9 a.m. for clients who have not visited for 6 weeks with no future appointments. Now, things like the 9 a.m., they can all be changed 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you're going to see that in just a few moments. We've got the We Miss You, a firm favourite of ours, and again, this will be sent to non-returning clients who have not been back for 16 weeks. Now, that 16 weeks is not configurable. The reason is we tend to say if a client hasn't been back for 16 weeks, they're not going to. If you're finding you want to change this up a little bit or it doesn't quite suit you, we have that second marketing platform that we can talk about at the end, and that is called Marketing Plus. So we can discuss that towards the end if we need to. Happy birthday, again, a firm favorite. Everyone has a birthday. We've got the referral, appointment acknowledgement. And again, this campaign is sent a configurable number of minutes and hours or days after a client has created or updated an appointment. And we are actually going to use that one in our live demonstration for this morning. That one is a little bit more configurable. And we all love an appointment acknowledgement. That's basically a booking confirmation. No-show, this campaign will be sent 30 minutes after an appointment is marked as a no-show. Now, we are also going to touch on that one as well in our live demonstration. And pre-arrival instructions, this campaign will be sent a configurable number of minutes and hours or days before an appointment start time. Okay, now we tended to use, we used that a little bit more when it was coronavirus times and things like that. But we still use it now quite a fair amount. Okay. So why our customers love it then? It's quick and it's simple to use. It's accessible from a web browser. So for those of you that have used the Cloud Appointment Book, that's mainly what it's going to be used through. It's accessible via a security level. So if you're worried about your staff having access to the Cloud Appointment Book and you're thinking, well, I don't want them to be able to access it, that's all configurable as well. Wording and images are customizable. So there's a few things we can't change, but there's a fair amount we can change. And we're going to touch on all of that today as well for this morning. Send times for ongoing campaigns are preset, but customizable to a degree. So things like go out after 16 weeks or 1 day after a new client, Things like that, those send options, they're not configurable. The reason they're not configurable is because we don't want any mistakes or anything like that. It makes it so much easier if the hard work has been taken out of it for you. But things like going at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and things like that, or as we said with the pre-arrival instructions, going X amount of days before, that's all completely configurable. We can preview and send tests before activating. So of course, we want to ensure we love it. We want to ensure the clients are going to love it. We want to ensure it looks exactly how we want it to. So before we send that campaign out, we can preview and we can even send ourselves a test just to make sure everything is going to be absolutely bob on. And we can set up SMS as well as emails. And what does that mean, ladies and gents? That means we can pretty much capture everyone. Now, please don't worry at this stage if you're thinking, oh, but I don't want to send SMS as well as email. It's going to cost me a lot of money. Not a problem. We are going to discuss lots of different ways around that this morning as well. Can be made inactive with the touch of a button. It may be you've created a campaign, you need to change it. Maybe you're not happy with it. Maybe it's quite simply not working for you. I'm sure that won't be the case, but if we do need to make it inactive, we can do that with the touch of a button. You literally just click onto it and it's inactive. And the beauty of that, it can be made active again straight away. You can check your return on investment for the campaigns sent. So of course, we need to see just how well these campaigns are working. So how do we do that? We're going to see in a live demonstration in a minute, the way to track your return on investment is using a discount code or a promotion code, because we could just deduct the money off the client's bill. That would work perfectly fine, but there's no paper trail. How are we going to know how well that campaign worked for us? So we need to track our return on investment using promotion codes. So from here, we're now going to move into our live demonstration. But as always, if you do want to drop me an email, feel free to do so. You can do so at education@shortcuts.co.uk, or you can email me directly at chris_dan, DANN, @shortcuts.co.uk. That's education@shortcuts.co.uk, or directly at chris.dan, DANN, @shortcuts.co.uk. So from here, ladies and gents, we're now going to move into our live demonstration. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to look at is creating a promo or discount code. Now, of course, why do we do that? Well, one of the main reasons is, as we just said, we want to track that return on investment. So we're going to look at creating a promotion code, and we do this in our Shortcuts Fusion system. Now, you may have already created these discount codes, these promotion codes. If not, let's have a very quick look. So let's just log ourselves in just very quickly. And on the right-hand side of our navigation bar, we're going to click onto Setup. And then we're going to click onto Configuration. Over on the left-hand side, we're going to choose the third option down that says Discounts. Now, as always, if you hit the drop-down arrow at the top of your screen here, you may have quite a few discount codes created, such as email birthday, email miss you, new client, or email referral. You may already have these set up. That's not a problem. You can use those if you want to. But for the purpose of this masterclass, we are going to look at creating a discount code. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the new icon just here. And I'm just going to call it a birthday. But it could be new client, it could be we miss you, it could be whatever you feel is relevant to the campaign you want to create. So I've just called it birthday there. And I always recommend putting the value to the right-hand side of it as well. This just makes everybody's life that little bit easier. So what we're going to do is just click done. So we've said it's going to be a birthday 10%. So along the top here, we've got this drop-down arrow, and it says no discount. Now, if you decided to give a monetary value, you can use the fixed amount option here. If not, you can use one of our preset percentages just here. Now, if the percentage you want to give off isn't listed, so for example, maybe the business has been opened 33 years or 30 years, or you want to give 75% or something a little bit different that isn't listed, You can create your own percentage by using the Add Default icon in the top right-hand corner. And then click Done. This will then appear from your drop-down arrow. But as we said, we're only going to do 10%. We can use our preset ones just here. We then have these 3 tick boxes just here. So discount can be applied to product, services and series, sundry and gift certificate. I'm going to say this 10% can only be redeemable off of my services and series. And that really just acts as a safety net. Now we've also said the default amount, 10%, cannot be changed at point of sale. So this 10% is a firm 10%. Can it be changed? Well, if it's got to be set at 10%, it cannot be changed. You know, we don't want anyone being sneaky. We can tick this box here that says default amount cannot be changed at POS. And then we're just going to click save, and then we're going to click done. And it's a good idea maybe just to give a quick restart to your shortcut system. But that code there we have created will then appear in your shortcut system in roughly 5 or 10 minutes time. So we always create that discount code first, and it will then pull through to your cloud. So from here, we're now going to do a little bit more background information. So we've set up our discount code that is prepped, that is primed, that's ready to pull through to our cloud-based marketing. What we're going to go to now is our online console. So we can navigate to our preferred internet browser and just type in the web address console.shortcutssoftware.com. That's console.shortcutssoftware.com. So why are we now doing this before we've got stuck into the marketing? Well, we're going to look at some background information, and this background information will pull through to your email campaigns automatically. So it's worth double checking this information now. Now, if you're using things such as online booking or the Salon mobile guest app, you may find this information is already quite up to date, but it is worth just double checking it now. So what we're going to do is on the left-hand side, we're going to click onto site settings, settings of your specific site. So we're going to click onto site settings. And then as we scroll down, all we're going to do is we're just going to double check the website here. We're going to double check Facebook, and we're going to double check Instagram. Now, these 3 links, these 2 social media links and the website link will pull through automatically into your emails. So it saves you having to upload them. Again, it pulls through automatically. Then as we scroll down, we would just double check the business name, double check the telephone number, double check the physical address and everything like that. So why are we double checking the telephone number? Why are we double checking the business address? Well, in your campaigns, in your email campaigns, you will see we have something called personalized field. And that's a bit of a buzzword for this morning, ladies and gents. So we're going to say that again. It is our personalized fields. So then, what are personalized fields? Well, they're fields that bring through the information automatically, and we are going to see those in just a sec. So just put that to your back of your mind. It's a bit of a buzzword for this Monday morning, personalized fields. So we're just going to double check all of this information here for our personalized fields. Now, of course, if you've made any changes to the top right-hand side, just click the save icon just there. Okay, so we are now ready to get started with our marketing. So where is marketing done? Where is our cloud-based marketing done? Well, it's all done through the cloud appointment book. So how do we then get to the cloud? Well, some of you may have it saved as a app, shall we say, and some of you may have it just as a URL. Some of you may need to search for it now. So how do we get to the cloud? Well, at the home screen of our online console, our console.shortcutssoftware.com, of the home screen, we have an icon in the top right here, and it says Shortcuts Cloud. Now, if we were to click onto Shortcuts Cloud, you will see this will open up our cloud appointment book. But if you would rather just search for it, we are quite simply on an internet page, and it's pos.shortcutssoftware.com, pos.shortcutssoftware.com, and it should open up our cloud appointment book. Now, just before we get into the messages and the marketing, because I know we're dying to, but just very, very quickly before we do, we said right at the beginning, it is all handled via security. So you may have several employees set up with the cloud appointment book. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't particularly want them sort of meddling with it or changing it or getting involved. So can we then stop our staff members accessing the cloud-based messages? Yes, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to click in the top left-hand corner. We're going to click onto menu, and we're going to go down to business settings. From here, we're going to click onto roles, and you should see your two role types on the left-hand side. Your role types basically determine the level of access. So from here, you would then click the red word permissions for that role type. So I'm going to look at my permissions for my employee role. And then as we scroll down, you can see our permission categories, such as appointment book, configuration, and general. So if we expand configuration, you will see I can configure messages, yes to no. And again, that's just under the configuration permission category just here. So I can configure messages, yes or no. So if you don't want this particular role type to be configuring messages, just make sure this is set to no. By default, it will be. Okay, so ladies and gents, we are now set up, ready to do our messages and our marketing. So at the top here, we have this icon that says messages. And we're going to click onto that. And on the left-hand side, we have two different types of campaign. We have a one-time marketing campaign and ongoing campaigns, often referred to as set and forget. Now, all of these you will be familiar with from the very beginning PowerPoint presentation. However, I'm not going to run through all of them this morning, ladies and gents, because I know some of you might be a day off, some of you might have a client at 11 o'clock, but I feel confident that all of you watching, once we've had one or two different demonstrations, you'll be perfectly fine creating your own campaigns. So we're going to start with a firm favorite of mine. We're going to start with happy birthday. And this is a good one to get started with. Everyone has a happy birthday. It's always nice to wish your clients a happy birthday. So it's a good one to get the ball rolling. And this is an ongoing campaign. So we're just going to click on to happy birthday. To the right-hand side, we can see the campaign name. We can see the description. So message customers on their birthday. And then we've got the send schedule. This is what is going to trigger the campaign to be sent out. So this message will be sent at 9 a.m. each day to all clients who are having a birthday. So it'll be sent on the day of their birthday. Underneath, but we can configure the gender. And we can also configure the send time. Now, it is always worth remembering, ladies and gents, that the send time can either be on the hour or half past the hour. If you were to put something like 9:45, it would automatically move it to 10 a.m. Underneath, we've got the two different platforms. We've got email, we've got SMS. We can currently see they're inactive. So we're going to start by email, of course, because it is free of charge. So we're going to click onto email, and then underneath, we've got our display logo. Now, I do apologize, I forgot to show you where the display logo comes from. We just very quickly go back to our customer console and site settings. Sorry about this, ladies and gents. If we just scroll right down to the bottom, our site logo there. So in our site settings, exactly the same as we did with our social media links and personalized fields. Just scroll right down to the bottom and just double check that site logo. Just now, apologies, I completely forgot on that last bit to show you the site logo. So that is where your site logo will pull through to. So your display logo pulls through from your site logo just here. Then underneath, we've got ourselves a display image. So what's a display image? A display image is an additional image to kind of jazz up your campaign, to make it look that little bit more snazzy, that little bit more fancy. And I would always say, just ensure that your display image is befitting of the campaign. So this is a happy birthday one. I would have something like cake and candles, happy birthday banner, balloons, anything like that. These images here, these display images, these can be grabbed from Google, Canva, Render Forest, anything like that, as long as there's no copyright associated. And to upload it, you would literally just click choose file. Then underneath, we've got the email subject, so happy birthday. Now we've got this here in brackets and it says customer first name. So what is that there in the brackets, customer first name? Well, that is our buzzword for this morning. That is our personalized field. That will bring that information through automatically. So if it was going to me, it would say happy birthday, Chris. If it was going to Millie, it would say happy birthday, Millie. If it was going to Sharon, it would say happy birthday, Sharon, and so forth. So where do we get these personalized fields from? So what we've got here is a drop-down arrow just to our right-hand side where it says insert field. So we can click the drop-down arrow and then we've got just down here, customer first name. So if you were thinking perhaps, let's just delete this out. Let's just delete this out. And you think, actually, I do want it to bring the customer's first name through automatically. We just hit the drop-down arrow and we choose customer first name. Then underneath, we've got the body of the email. So again, there's that buzzword. There's the personalized field just there. Hi, customer first name. From all of us here at Gary's Hair and Beauty Boutique, we wish you a very happy birthday. That's the name of my test boutique. To help you celebrate, we thought we would send you a special little birthday present, a voucher to use at your next appointment. We hope you have a wonderful birthday. Now, this, ladies and gents, to save you time, is all preset, but you know what? It's completely configurable. If you want to get stuck in and start changing the wording, that's perfectly fine. But we've done a lot of the hard work for you there just to make your life that little bit easier. Now, underneath here, we've got an offer box, okay? Now, you can see at the top here, we've got the offer text, and then underneath, we've got that discount code. So again, why do we upload that discount code? Well, we upload the discount code to track your return on investment, so we can see how well this campaign is working for you. And of course, where do the discount codes come from? Well, if you remember at the very beginning in our Shortcuts Fusion system, under setup and configuration and discount, we created that discount code. And after a few minutes, it will pull through just here and you can then upload it on there. If you are using Shortcuts Online Booking, you can have an automatic book now button just here, and this will pull through automatically. If you accidentally get rid of it by clicking the cross in the top right-hand corner of the window, it can be brought back by simply clicking the Add Book button. There is no need for a link. There is no need for anything like that. You can literally just click Add Book button. For those of you watching that are using the self-check-in button, now if you're not sure if you're using the self-check-in button, the good news is you're not using it because you would know if you're using the self-check-in button is what I mean by that. So if you are watching using the self-check-in button, typically our barbers, you can add the check-in button in exactly the same fashion. But if you're not using the self-check-in, like I said, you would know if you were using it. Just always ensure that's been crossed down. Then underneath, we've also got a sign off. Okay, now this basically acts like a bit of a footer. And again, you can see we've got these squiggly brackets. So again, what are these squiggly brackets? That's our buzzword for today. It's our personalized fields. So what does that mean? It means it brings that information through automatically. Business name, business email. And again, where do we get these personalized fields from? To the right-hand side, again, we've got the drop-down arrow that says Insert Field. And we can click onto that and choose, for example, business phone. Now, again, where does it bring this information through from? Well, if you remember, we double-checked in the site settings, we double-checked all of the information just here. And this is where it will pull that data through into your personalized fields. And it's basically the reason we use personalized fields, ladies and gents, is to save you typing the phone number out, typing the email address out, typing the business name out. If you can click onto that personalized field and it bring it all through for you, think how much time it's going to save us. So we can see there in a matter of minutes, we've created a campaign. but can we preview it? So right down the bottom here, we have a little preview icon, which we can click onto. And we can see just there's our logo. Again, that pulls from site settings. There's our display image, and there's the body of our email just there. There's our free treatment text. There's our book now button. There's our sign off using our personalized fields. And there are our social media links just down here. Let's click back onto that. And there's our social media links just there as well. Now, if you want to see exactly how this will look, you can also send yourself a test to see exactly how it will look. And it's also worth doing that, ladies and gents, if you want to see if your personalized fields are correct. Remember, they all pull through from site settings of the online console. Now, if you wish to activate this campaign, this can be done so by clicking the activate icon in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, you may be looking at this thinking, okay, well, I've got a lot of email addresses, Chris, and it's something we hear quite a lot. I've got a lot of email addresses, but I've certainly got more mobile numbers. And I'm worried that when I send this out via email, I'm going to miss a lot of people. Well, we can also send it out via SMS. And you'll notice as we scroll right down to the bottom, we've got this option here that says SMS. Now, if we click onto this, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on this send SMS. And it says always or only when no email will be sent. So if you want to try and capture as many clients as possible, I would always use the only when no email will be sent. Because let's say we don't have Chris's email, but we do have Chris's phone number. He will be sent the text message when no email will be sent. If it's always, even if you've got my email, I'll be sent that email as well as the SMS. Now, always remember, ladies and gents, when you're talking about SMSs, first thing to keep an eye on is the characters used. There are 138 characters for one message. And always remember, ladies and gents, if you are using personalized fields, such as the customer first name, the amount of characters can change. So, for example, if the customer's first name was Bob, that's only 3 characters. If it was going to someone like Christopher, that's quite a few characters. So always leave yourself a buffer down the bottom. Now, again, remember with a text message, there's no logo, there's no display image. It's purely text. But you can still use those personalized fields and they can be found just here in the bottom right. And again, you can send yourself a test, but remember this will come out of your standard confirmation reminder text message balance, so to speak. And then you can activate in the bottom right-hand corner. And to deactivate, these 2 buttons simply change to deactivate. And when you're happy, we can click done. Now, just very quickly, ladies and gents, we did have, I think, a couple of questions come through there. So I'm just going to quickly answer those now. Okay, so sorry about it. I was just answering a question, but as I was answering, I kind of thought it was such a good question. I'm going to actually answer it out loud as well. So I did send it privately, but somebody did ask, how can we set a discount code to only be used once by the customer, which is a really, really good question, because of course, if you send out happy birthday voucher, you don't want them coming back every week using it, or if you send them a new client voucher, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to set a one-time only discount code. One thing you could do once they have been sent the campaign and they have used it, you could add it onto the client's alert. So you could use the red and white exclamation mark, the alert, and just say benefited from the happy birthday discount, or anything like that. It would also show on the client's history. So there is a small amount of legwork to see this. So of course, if it was their birthday and you did the £5 off voucher, add the little alert in, you'll see it on the client's history. If it was a new client, obviously they shouldn't keep using the same new client voucher over and over again, because once they've returned, they're no longer a new client. They're normally an existing client. But yes, there isn't really a way to set it per se. I would just take note of alerts and adding on to the client's history. It will show in their history as well. There are also reports such as discount reason breakdown, which will show certain discounts used and things like that. But yes, it's a very, very good question. Just requires a small amount of legwork just to ensure that clients aren't continually coming back and using it. Excellent stuff. So that was our first ongoing campaign. And we're also just going to have a look at our appointment acknowledgement campaign. Now, again, this is a firm favorite, the appointment acknowledgement. It is essentially a booking confirmation. And this, ladies and gents, is used for things like the app, it's used for online booking, everything like that, face-to-face, over the phone, is used for all of your bookings. So this appointment acknowledgement is not to be confused with your text message reminders, okay? So as we can see here, the description, message customers about their new or changed appointments. Now we're going to get to the changed appointments in just a sec. For the time being, let's just concentrate, message customers about their new appointments. So this will currently go 30 minutes after the appointment is created or changed. So if I was to make an appointment today, if I was to ring up, if I was to book via the app, if I was to book online, if I was to book face-to-face, if I was to make my appointment today, but the actual appointment itself wasn't for 3 weeks' time, 30 minutes after I make it today, I'm going to get my appointment acknowledgement. I'm going to get that confirmation. Then in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, whenever I made my appointment for, we'll watch the recording back. Was it 2 weeks? Was it 3 weeks? When I made my appointment in 2 weeks' time, I would then get my text message reminder. So we're kind of covering the client at both ends with this. So this will message customers about their new or changed appointments. So changed appointments. And so exactly what does that mean? Well, we know what it's like. If a client rings up and they're booked in at 1 o'clock and they then change that appointment to 2 o'clock, they're going to get that new appointment acknowledgement. It's basically confirming the appointment change time. Now, that'll be whether they ring up, do it over the phone, face-to-face, or they do it via their online booking platform or their mobile guest app. They will get that new confirmation email. So then, what about if we make the appointment longer or shorter? So we've all been there, we realize a client has lots of hair and we make the appointment 30 minutes longer. That won't affect anything. It's only if we adjust the start time. So if you are making that appointment longer and shorter, that's not affecting the start time, okay? It's essentially affecting the finish time. So that's not going to affect anything there. It's not going to trigger a new campaign to be sent out. So it's only if you adjust the start time. And also, we know what it's like, busy salons, everything like that. We've got a client on the phone and they say, book me in for 1 p.m. You book them in for 1 p.m. And then they go, oh no, actually book me in for 1:15. So you move it down to 1:15. And they go, and I tell you what, book me back in at 1. And then you move it back to 1 o'clock. Are they then going to get 3 appointment acknowledgements, one for 1, one for 1:15, and then one back for 1 o'clock? No. There is actually a 3 or 4 minute grace window. It's roughly about 4 minutes. There's a 4-minute grace window to cater for you to make these changes. So if you book it in at 1 o'clock and then you move it to 1:15, then move it back to 1 and then 1:15 and backwards and forwards, there's about 4 minutes you've got to make those changes. Once it settles after that, it would then go 26 minutes afterwards from there. So you've got 4 minutes before it sort of really cements it. Now, the send schedule itself is completely configurable. I usually leave it around 30 minutes after the appointment is created or changed. You will see you can change it to hours or days, but personally, I think if you leave it a day, they're only going to ring up and say, I didn't get a confirmation email or anything like that. And then exactly the same underneath, it's only the send schedule that changes. There's our logo, there's our display image, there's our subject, and again, we can use those buzzword, the personalized fields in the bottom right just there. We've got the body, we've got the offer, we've got the book now button, self-check-in button, and the sign off. Again, everything is exactly the same. And we've got that preview and send test button just there as well. And exactly the same for SMS. So as we can see, everything opens up in exactly the same way. It's only the send schedule that changes. And that is our appointment acknowledgement. Now, just one other one we're just going to look at very, very quickly is our no-show. Now, the reason I in particular want to show you our no-show, what happened. So message customers about their client who did not show up for their appointment. So we can see the send schedule with this one. This message will be sent to the client 30 minutes after their appointment is marked as a no-show. Now, in particular, ladies and gents, the only reason I'm showing you this one, as we can see, opens up in exactly the same way. We've got the logo, we've got the display image, got the subject, everything there is exactly the same. But the reason I wanted to show you this one in particular, ladies and gents, is with the send schedule, this message will be sent to the client 30 minutes after their appointment is marked as a no-show. So please remember with this, ladies and gents, do not delete the client, okay? Because if you delete the appointment, sorry, not the client, if you delete the appointment out of the diary, it has got nothing to springboard from. So if we think about this technically, the send schedule here will be sent 30 minutes after their appointment is marked as a no-show. For the system to know who it's going to go to, it needs to piggyback, it needs to springboard off of that appointment. If you delete that appointment, it will not send it. You can delete the appointment an hour or two afterwards. That's perfectly fine once it's been sent out, because it only sends out 30 minutes afterwards. But don't mark it as a no-show and then delete it straight away until it's had that at least 30 minutes. Because if you delete it, it's then not going to be able to piggyback off it, and it won't know which appointment and therefore which client it's going to go to. So if that client has no-show, just right-click, mark as no-show, leave it a good 30 minutes to ensure the email or text message has been sent to that customer. Then you're free to, delete the appointment. Now you might be thinking, okay, but if I leave it in there, Chris, nobody's going to be able to take that appointment because it's kind of blocking that time. I totally understand that. What you could do is, if you've got an apprentice column, or maybe you've got like a manager column that isn't really in use, just drag it across to that's perfectly fine. The appointment stays in the diary, and it also frees up that slot as well. You can maybe just drag it up to the 15 minutes, just move it across to someone else as well. But just make sure that appointment has been kept in there as well for at least 30 minutes for it to piggyback off of that. But as we said, everything else opens up in exactly the same way. Just I had a couple of people asking before saying, well, I've got the no-show one set up, Chris, but it's not sending out. So just make sure you don't delete that appointment. And in one other one I'm just going to show you very quickly is pre-arrival instructions. Now, pre-arrival instructions, if we click onto this, we can see send instructions to a client before their visit, and you can change this from minutes to hours to days. Pre-arrival instructions is a great way to make that client aware of certain T's and C's or certain things. Again, this was often used in coronavirus times to let the client know of instructions before they arrive. So, for example, I went to a salon the other day, and they always keep the door shut and they have to ring the doorbell. They were using pre-arrival instructions. They were sending out 1 or 2 hours before, just saying, when you arrive, please ensure to ring the doorbell and a member of our team will come down and greet you. So it is perfect for that, our pre-arrival instructions. Now, also, one of the reasons I'm going to bring this up is it's not on my test system, but it may be on yours. So if you've never used pre-arrival instructions, some of you may have, some of you may not. Now, in particular, when we look at the body of the email, yours might be completely changed like my one here. If it is, not a problem. But for those of you that have never used this, you might be looking at the body of the email, and it may say something along the lines of, please wait for further instructions. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, please wait for further instructions. So yes, some of you have got that, some of you will not. For those of you that don't have it, it may be in coronavirus times, you edited it, you changed it. You may remember, you may not remember. But for some of you that are watching that have never used this, you may have the wording that says, please wait for further instructions. So again, the reason I'm bringing this up is if it says, please wait for further instructions, well, that really sort of begs the question, then, what are these further instructions? But also, if we're waiting for them, where are they coming from? So please wait for further instructions. Well, where are they coming from? So what you will have, ladies and gents, is what we call ad hoc text messages. So I'm going to just navigate away from this just very quickly and go to our appointment diary. So you can see here, I've got a client booked in. And all we're going to do is we're going to click onto Amy. and we're going to click the three dots in the bottom right hand corner. And you can see we've got this option here that says SMS customer. Now, when we click onto SMS customer, you could send a bespoke text message to this customer. That's perfectly fine. But you'll also see we've got a drop down arrow that says, please come to the front desk. Hi, Amy, the team at Gary's Hair and Beauty Boutique are ready for your appointment. Please come to the front desk. And we've also got this one. We are running late. So sorry, Amy, we're running a few minutes late. We'll let you know when we're ready to see you. Those are preset text messages in the cloud that you can send out. And you can see we've got two there, the please come to the front desk and the we are running late. You can actually create your own. So we'll just get rid of that. So there are a few salons that I've spoken to, and unfortunately they very often have floods. It's terribly unfortunate, but they sort of need a way to then quickly text that customer, say, you know, we've had a flood again, or we've had a power cut. There's also a few that have parking restrictions, and they want to just send a few ad hoc text messages to that customer, but they don't want to manually write them out each time. So you can then create your own template just like this here. So if we go to menu and communication and then SMS templates, you can see you've got the two pre-created there. You can click new down the bottom and create your own template. So it could be parking restrictions between 1 and 3 or anything like that. And then you can then just tap on that particular customer, click the three dots, and then just choose SMS customer, and you can use your template from the top there. Saves you manually writing the text message out, but of course it's a great way to let that customer know. But please, again, be aware that the text message will come out of your normal bundle. So those are our ongoing campaigns. And again, we didn't look at all of them, but we looked at a fair few. I tried to get through as many as we can. But we're going to have a look at our one-time campaigns. So our one-time campaigns will be purely sent out at once. Think of it as a bit more of a blast, whereas your ongoing campaigns will be continually sent out. So one-time marketing campaigns. So we've got message all clients and a targeted campaign. So what is the difference then? Message all clients will send a once-off campaign to all customers in your database. So this isn't going to target anyone in particular. It's going to go to all customers in your database. So as you can see here, we've got a nice Merry Christmas one. It could be a Valentine's Day one. It could be a Halloween one. It could be a New Year one. And that's pretty much, you know, fair enough to go to absolutely everyone. So message all clients will go to all clients in your database. So if you've already created some of these, you can just click new down the bottom and create a brand new one at the top here. And again, you can change the gender if you need to. So maybe you're talking about, you know, you've just taken on a new barber, you know, anything like that, and you just want it to just go to males. You're talking about female specific services, you can just send it to all of your females. If not, it is always worth just leaving everybody ticked there. You can then change the send time. Remember, it always goes on the hour or half past the hour. And you've also got the send date. So again, you can be nice and proactive. Is it too early to be talking about Christmas? Who knows? But we can certainly get those Christmas campaigns created now. And then you can put that date in time if you need to. And exactly the same as our ongoing campaigns, got your display logo and your display image. Now, please bear in mind, ladies and gents, when you're doing a message all clients, the campaign will be completely blank because, of course, we don't know what you want to say. So remember, you've got your subject, you've got your body, you've got the offer, and that discount code pulls through from your main Fusion system. You've then got the book now button, self-check-in, and a sign-off. We can click activate, and it will let you know roughly how many customers it is going to go to. So always bear that in mind. So that is message all clients. That will go to all clients in your database as long as they are opted in to receive that type of marketing. So then, what about targeted campaign? Okay, now targeted campaign is a way to target specific clients based on demographic criteria. So that could be their age, it could be their gender, it could be their town, could be the services they have or haven't had done. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail in just a sec. So underneath, we've got recipients, and it says use imported customer list. There is also a way to do appointments within a date range. Again, we often use that when we came out of lockdown, but you can also do it again for the salon I spoke about earlier when they had a flood. They had lots of clients booked in when they obviously couldn't service them because the salon was closed. So they wanted to contact all of those customers within that date range. So when they reopened up, when the flood had been sorted out, when they reopened back up, they just wanted to contact all of those customers within that date range. But we're going to look at using an imported customer list. And it says upload exported list from Fusion. Now remember, Fusion is a name of your main shortcut system. So how do we then export a customer list from Fusion? So we're going to open up our main shortcuts Fusion system. We're going to pop our pin in like, and on the right hand side, we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to go to Marketing. Now we're going to start off nice and easy. In the bottom left hand corner, we're going to click onto Clients. And you can see there's lots of different ways to filter the clientele down. So remember, we are targeting your clients here. So we can target them based on their town, their birth month, their age, or their gender. But a very popular one is preferred employee. Now, you may or may not be aware of this, but if a customer sees one of your employees 3 or more times in a row, they are automatically defaulted to their preferred employee. So it may be that staff member has gone on maternity leave, and you just want to contact all of, shall we say, air quote, their customers. Maybe that particular employee has had a price increase, they've adjusted their hours or anything like that. And again, air quote, we just want to send it to all of their customers. So that will then go to their preferred employee. Maybe you only want to contact and target all of your customers from your particular club or program. So maybe you've got a VIP club, maybe you've got a staff club, maybe you've got a loyalty program set up, and you just want to let them know that you're suspending it or you're adjusting it or you're changing it. And you just want to let all of those customers know. You can also do for new clients if you wish to. Now remember, new clients, clients who refer, and non-returning clients are all preset in your cloud-based marketing, but doing it this way gives you a bit more flexibility. We've also got down here service frequency, so you can find your real regulars or not regular customers. So greater than 10 appointments or less than 5 appointments. So you can find your real regulars or your non-regulars. And you can also find your services pounds spent. So you can find your real top spenders. Or you can try and entice your customers back that haven't spent a great deal. And you can do exactly the same for your products here. Frequency greater than or less than, pounds less than or greater. So that's a very simple way to filter your client down. But what about then if we want to do a little bit more in depth? Well, we've got this screen here that says services done, services not done. And this is basically what we call transactional marketing. Products purchased, products not purchased. And this is a great way to organically upsell because it's based on the services they have had done. And it's also based on the services they haven't had done. So it's a great way to upsell further services. I'll give you an example. So we could do products purchased. To the left, we've got companies, lines, and products. So for example, products purchased, we can start off very, very broad and go to companies. And then we can do American Crew. That would then find clients that have purchased any American Crew product, any line, any particular product. And then we could also say, well, we've just taken on a brand new line, a line that's very similar to American Crew that we think if clients are using American Crew, they would love this new brand, such as Bumble and Bumble, for example. So we can then do products not purchased. And that would then find all customers that have purchased any American Crew, but have not purchased Bumble and Bumble. We can delete these out. We can also do it via the lines. So we could say they've always purchased the Elemis Biotech, but they've never purchased Elemis Biotech Support. So we can say we've always purchased this line of products, but did you also know we sell this line of products? And again, you can be nice and specific with the specific product just here. So we can do products purchased and say you've always purchased what have we got here? You've always purchased the Daily Moisture shampoo, but you've never purchased the Daily Moisture conditioner. And therefore is a way to organically upsell, because we're saying that you've always purchased the Daily Moisture shampoo, but did you also know we stock the Daily Moisture conditioner, which would be a perfect addition to your home care? Now, of course, the more specific you are, you're less likely to get loads of customers because you're being super specific. So always bear that in mind. This is also a great way. So I had the other day, a salon, they had lots and lots of heat tools such as straighteners, curling ones, and things like that. And they've just taken on heat defense sprays. So they wanted to let all of their customers know that had purchased the heat styling tools such as the GHDs, the Cloud9s, the Babylisses, things like that. But they had never purchased a heat styling spray or a cream or anything like that. So it's basically saying, look, you've always purchased these styling wands and these electrical styling tools, but you've never purchased a heat defense spray, and they would go hand in hand. So that's our products. Then what about our services? So it may be services done. We can click onto categories, and you can find people that have always had, let's say, facials. That'd be any facial, but they've never had eye treatments or nails or bodies and things like that. And it's a great way to organically upsell. Now, you might be watching this and you do both hair and beauty. So you might want to do services done and just click your hair categories, and services not done would be your beauty categories, and say, look, did you know we've just taken on a nail technician, or did you know we've just taken on a beauty therapist, or even could be, did you know we do beauty here? And again, you can be super specific. So again, for services done, we can choose the specific services. And we can say you've always had a half head of highlights, but you've never had services not done. You've never had full head of highlights. And that is a great way to organically upsell. So you could do always had a root tint, never had a full head tint. It's a great way to organically upsell. Now, my firm favorite is to do a mixture of them both. So services done, do my categories, and I do color. And that would be any color, root tints, highlights, the lot. Services not done, and I'm specific. Go into my services, and I go into my hair treatments, and I say they've never had an express conditioning treatment. So it could be you offer things like Wellaplex or Olaplex or Fiberplex, anything like that. And you might be charging upwards of 15, 20, 30 pounds for this Olaplex or Fiberplex, which only takes 5 or 10 minutes to mix into the color. But it's a great return on investment. So you might want to find all of your customers that have had color, but have never had that specific in-color treatment. Now, as you've done this, ladies and gents, what we need to do, we need to see how many customers fall into these categories. So down the bottom, we click onto compute. It will let us know any customers that have opted out of marketing. So we just click done. And we can see there I've got 11 customers. Now you might look at this and think, oh, it's not really worth my while for 11 customers. That's perfectly fine. So please remember, I'm only doing this on a test system. But you might look at this and have 6,000 customers. You can see this on the right-hand side by looking at our results. So you might look at it and think, I've got 6,000 customers. That then pretty much tells us I've had 6,000 customers that have had any color service, but they've never had that intense treatment. You could then maybe offer a few pounds off in a treatment and entice those customers to have that intense treatment with you. So we can see here, we've got my 11 results. Now, what I would always do, ladies and gents, is exclude the customers with no email, because if you decided you're going to send this out via email, it's always worth excluding the customers with no email. Otherwise, it's only going to bounce back and it will throw your results figures out. I would also remove the customers that have opted out of marketing. And you can see it drops down to just the one. Now, please bear in mind, ladies and gents, if you're doing this via text message, please ensure you exclude the customers with no mobile, because it will attempt to send it, but it will bounce back and you will still be charged. So not only will it throw your results figures out here, you will also be charged for a bounce back text message. So please ensure you exclude the ones with no mobile. And exactly the same, exclude the ones that have opted out of marketing and everything like that as well. So I'm going to send it out via email and I'm going to exclude the ones that have opted out of marketing. I've only got the one customer, which ironically is me. But like I said, use your own discretion as whether it's worth sending it out. But once you've got that list of customers, what we're going to do is we're going to click save. And once we've clicked on to save, there's two things we're going to do, ladies and gents. There's two things we are going to do, and this potentially might be the most important aspect. So we're going to rename the client list. You can call it what you want. It's for your benefit only. So it could be color, no treatment, full half header highlights, no full header highlights, whatever it may be. It's for your benefit. It's purely a title. But what we are going to do is we're going to click the browse button. And the reason we click browse is we are saving a document as we speak. So we would then need to choose a location to save it to. Now, by default, you will see it saves it in a folder called point of sale, which is in a folder, which is in a folder, which is in a folder, which is in a folder. So there's a very good chance if you do not choose a location to save it to, I would potentially save it to your desktop or your documents. If you do not choose a location to save it to, in a couple of minutes time, you're not going to know where this document has been saved to. So just make sure you choose a decent location. And then all we do is we click save down the bottom. So once we've clicked saved, we then need to upload this client list in our cloud-based marketing. So we go back to our internet page and it says upload exported list from Fusion. From here, you would simply click on to choose file and upload that text file that we literally just saved. Now it is at this point, ladies and gents, you usually click on it and think, well, where did I save it to? So just always make sure you've got that saved somewhere where you can find it later on by clicking on that choose file. And that, ladies and gents, is cloud-based marketing. And we finished up there with our targeted marketing. Now we've said for all of our campaigns, we upload that discount code to track our return on investment. That discount code is used at the point of sale screen to deduct the money off. Now, of course, we could literally just take the £5 off or the £10 off for the discount, but then we've got no return on investment. We've got no way of knowing why we gave that discount off, and therefore no way of knowing just how well it is working for us. So how do we track our return on investment? So all we need to do in the cloud is go to menu. We go down to reports and we choose this option here that says campaign summary. Now, I don't believe I've got any activated on this test system, but what you would need to do is set yourself a date range just along the top here. If you've got multiple sites, you can change them here and then just click view. Now, we may just get a quick preview, but it basically is very, very easy to work out. So we can see the method, the status, the sent, the delivered, opted out, bounce back, responses, discounts, and sales. So I'll do that again. I know it's only on a test system. I'll see if I can get it to just show it again. Will it allow me to do it? Let's try putting another. Let's go back a little bit here. Obviously, it will show if you've activated them. I don't think it's going to allow me to do it on there. But basically, you can see the method it was sent out via email or SMS, how many were sent, how many bounced back, and basically your return on investment. So it's a great way to ensure that this campaign is actually working for you. So always remember, if you are sending out a campaign, don't just deduct the discount at the point of sale screen. Always use that discount code that is being linked in the Cloud Appointment Book. And that, ladies and gents, is cloud-based marketing and messages. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop those across to me now. Lovely. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Excellent stuff. Okay. I think that's it for all of the questions for this morning. Thank you ever so much for joining me. We do have another masterclass this Wednesday morning and throughout October. And then, of course, we'll be continuing into November and then December as well. So always keep an eye out for the messages there. I know some of you get them from our marketing team, some of you get them from me. But if you do want the links, please just let me know. I can always send you links to sign up. We've got some great ones coming up. Employee management, management, I suppose, employee setup and management setup. Great things to really ensure you're getting as much out of the system as possible. Then towards the end of the month, we've got KPIs, ratings, reviews, business reports, everything like that. That's going to be a really in-depth one. So for our managers, directors, and owners, great to keep on top of that. That's going to be coming towards the end of October as well. I know some of you have already signed up through that, but just keep an eye out for the email for that. But as always, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you ever so much for joining me this morning. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those across to me. But if not, enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall speak to you all again soon. Thank you ever so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.